Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Word Show, number 55, a request poetry show. So, if we hopefully have some new viewers today, you guys are more than welcome to request poetry on the spot. Otherwise, for our typical team of merry watchers, what I have here to kind of do something a little different is I have a 3-inch wide roll of paper. And this roll of paper is hooked to my typewriter. And so what we can do is we could write the endless poem. Or at least one that is extremely long and looks like a CVS receipt. Yesterday I had some really good working on some commissions. I feel like that every day I make incremental improvements to organizing my commissions. And that has been a fun time. Other than that, things have been going well. Sorry for being better late than never this morning. This was definitely, I walked in here at like 6:45 and I was like, oh, I should probably clean my desk. And I cleaned my desk and I realized it was already after 7. And I said, oh no. That's what we're doing this morning. If there are no requests, I might just continue working on my little endless poem here, or I might end up revisiting some of the drafts that I wrote yesterday. Some of the really good drafts I wrote yesterday. But I want to ask to see how everybody else is doing. Anybody that's in the chat and outside the world. Relax your mind. God is poems. I wish I had a sound effect here. We can ring the bell multiple times. There we go. Woo! Relax your mind. God his poems. This Odyssey has found its resolution, which means, and is that, so relax your mind, is that address good for another poem? Because I'm about to send you your first Patreon poem. Or is that address not good for poems? If it's not good, you can whisper to me over Twitch, or we can, I will just simply send it out to that address. I am so glad that you were able to get your poems. So glad to hear that that all worked out. And there we go. So we have proven that the Postal Service still works from Virginia to Florida. And I have written to other people across the world in a literal sense. I sent a poem to Greece when this stream was just starting, and it was one of the coolest moments. So Relax Your Mind got 2 poems. He got a poem about sailing and a poem about lakes. And I hope that you like the poems. I hope you like the layout, the handcrafted design that you received in the mail. So what I'm going to do is, without further ado, I'm going to just kind of jump into my CVS receipt of a poem here. And we're just going to run with this. And if you guys want to throw lines, ideas at me, I'm going to just kind of start going stream of consciousness on it. This is also known as the Jack Kerouac episode. So my hope is to one day have an actual full-sized length roll of paper. I have been researching how to do that, because I figure that would be a real fun gig thing to do. I know that I can get 6-inch, which is good, and I forgot where I saw that, but I need to get myself that. So I will be evaluating different types of rolls of paper, and having fun with it. So, without further ado, a very narrow poem that hopefully is not narrow-minded. And as we always do, I'm going to bring back Akira the Don and his lo-fi beats. Alex 5K is requesting a throwback reading. Can you read Scrungle Fungus again? I can absolutely read it because it was hanging on my wall right behind me. All right. A reprise of Scrungle Fungus. I feel like this needs a follow-up. Maybe I'll integrate some scrungle bee fungus into the poem writing here. Grounded. The very aroma of home and its table, plenty with memories of mother's cooking, father's snoring, and sibling rivaling. To the table the mystery mushroom majesty arrives. Scrungle beef fungus, creamy ooze of delight that brightens with every soothing bite. These round caps and cowbacks take us back to the herd of heart. A childhood home, one spoonful at a time. And there we go. See, it is still signed with the date 7/25 when this escapade of energetic enthusiasm and creative calamity began with the Three Musketeers of Relax Your Mind, Alex 5K, and Cynical Chill. Truly amazing. Thank you. I really appreciate the compliments. So, yeah, welcome everybody again to the stream. I think I'm going to try to integrate some scrungle bee fungus into this poem over here. We had a guy on the stream, his name was Raz. He was just, his method of chatting was so cool. The way that he kind of pieced together words and put them in the chat yesterday was really neat, and I would love to have him back here again because he was just blowing up my mentality. And I even have the pictures of the chat on my phone, but it's sitting over there. So let's see what it looks like when we're actually running a endless poem. I have some typos already on this one because I was just kind of playing around before the stream began. And yeah. How is everybody today? How are the vibes? How's the feelings? Adventures for the day? Ideas, concepts, dreams? I hope the streaming has been going well. Relax Your Mind. Relax Your Mind has been building his channel again for Call of Duty and DayZ. I kind of was able to take a quick look at the DayZ video yesterday, and it was a lot of walking from what I could tell. that seems to be the vibe of DayZ. I guess it's kind of giving you that desolate zombie apocalypse feel. Interesting thing. Femke says they're trying some 3D modeling while listening today. That's exciting. What are you modeling? Not to distract you more from your work. There we go. I love the Secure the Dawn song. A custom watercolor palette box. Femke, I would absolutely love one day to be able to share, like, I don't know, some pictures, or if you publish them or anything, of some of the art that you're creating on the screen. That attention to detail about making sure that your paint pans are shallow and at the right level. That is so careful, so intentful. And that is cool. Femke, the artist. This is my first time I've ever actually done anything like this on or off the air. And something cool, if you guys are sitting there in the chat and you're like, oh wow, he should write this, drop it in the chat. And of course, Femke, it is great to be collaborative with artists here on the stream. MK says that they're amazed how easy 3D designing is. I agree. 3D designing is definitely becoming more and more accessible by the day. That's impressive. They have people have designed 3D printed typewriter parts. So Alex 5K is asking. So FMK is asking. I think maybe you would like to write something about hope and new starts. I think I'll integrate it into the poem here, and then if at a certain point I get tired of this craziness, I will definitely write an original poem about hope and new starts. Alex 5K asks, who is my favorite poet? That is an interesting question. I always answer it with 3 different names. And we'll take a quick break from the writing to answer that question. One of my first favorite poets is Billy Collins. This is his Aimless Love, which is a large collection of his poems, New York Times bestseller. His poems are always just straight to the point, casual, enjoyable. They're not very obscure. One day I should do that on the stream. I should read some obscure MFA-style poetry. And I have great respect for people that get MFAs in creative writing and poetry, but sometimes their poetry is kind of self-referential and not easy to understand for average guys like me. That's why I like Billy Collins. Then I also like William Wordsworth, a very transcendental writer, which kind of started that genre of transcendentalism. I learned him in high school, and his poem, Lines Composed Over Tintern Abbey, is a beautiful example of being in a place and feeling connections beyond that place. And believe it or not, in the late 1800s, I think it was when he was writing, that was something they were like figuring out. Like that was like poetry at that point had not reached that level. Like poetry was either about the story, or poetry was an imaginative thing. It wasn't a combination of both. Then my third favorite poet is Kendrick Lamar, the rapper, because Rap and its style of rhyming is just absolutely dazzlingly skillful. Like, he comes up with rhyme schemes and poetry and poet styles. Like, if you were to take his words and write it on the page, and then when he reads it out, blows me away. Absolutely incredible. Let's get back to our endless poem. David White, that's probably a very good apt description of the challenges with an MFA. That an MFA is excellent, but people end up sounding a lot the same, losing some of their own voice. Femke is pointing out what David White says about MFAs. And I think that's part of it. And then also the other part of it is that MFAs write for MFAs. And it starts turning into this thing where, like, it's like kind of like modern art. And I like modern art. But, modern art's for a certain audience. And some audiences can't engage as well with modern art. And so what I do, and I have Akira playing right now. So I would say that the MFA style poetry that I've seen is the equivalent of modern art, and it's very different than my style altogether. Like, I don't think I'll ever sound like that. But yeah, that's that. MK says, have you thought further on doing poems without using certain words? You say you use some words too frequently for your own taste, and that is true. That is absolutely true. I have, and my strategy, and I haven't been doing this as much a lot, because I've been so busy. I don't think I've been able to really analyze myself as much as I want to. But if I'm on the street and I'm typing, sometimes what I'll do, and I'll do it a little more here, is I will what I do when it comes to the words is and I like that. Maybe we need bingo cards with words you are not allowed to use, and we can win prizes if you accidentally use them. I like that. The what I do it kind of on spot situations. Like, if I come up with a word quickly in my mind, sometimes I will actually push back with myself and I'll say, nope, try again. Nope, try again. That might help to kind of expand, and also a good challenge too, especially when I'm kind of writing these very free verse fun type of poems. Alex5K says, me and Relax have a clan on the DayZ RP server called Gray Matter. You could be the clan's official poet. And furthermore, to that, I have actually been, I might partner with my friend to do, goodness, I'm losing my train of thought, to do kind of some of that for his Minecraft server. And that's one of the things that is intriguing to me, kind of combining Twitch and poetry. So I came onto Twitch, I'm talking a lot to bring down the music in. I came onto Twitch and I was kind of like, this is a great platform to do live streaming for. And I knew I was going to run into some people that were playing video games a lot. But what I've realized is, believe it or not, concurrently, a friend of mine, a very good childhood friend of mine, has been writing poems himself for his Minecraft server. And I'm like, this is incredible. And the stuff he is writing is absolutely to the T, out of this world. Like, he has a very interesting voice. He's a very classic, almost medieval-esque voice. And I think the Minecraft server has some medieval things going. And so it's very much that they create their own world, and then he can write art about that world, which then, helps the world feel even more meaningful to all of them inside. Let me see if I could bring up some of his poems. He actually wrote a poem about a Kerbal Space Program that I'm realizing that he might not want me to read his poems on the air, so I will ask him permission to. And then if you guys want to check in over the next few days, I will try to read his poem on the air. But it was incredible. So he wrote one about Kerbal Space Program. He wrote another about his Minecraft server. But yes, if you guys... And one of the other things that I'm kind of have possibly as an idea is... I haven't played video games in a very long time, but I used to play RimWorld, which was a kind of like outpost... people getting stranded on a planet have to kind of come together. But what was always cool to me is the idea that I could write stories based off of those video game experiences. And that's what I might just do, is I might play the game and I might write poetry, play the game and write poetry. And kind of use that as kind of like a cool way to create a sort of universe within a universe. So I like that idea. Spencer of Grove says, one of my favorite poems and poets. I'll take a quick look at this. So he sent me a poet by the name of Watsky, is the name. And what I'm going to do, Spencer of Grove, is if you want, you tell me when one of these good mornings that you know you're going to be on here, and I can just feature and play some of Watsky's poetry, and we can kind of share and talk about it. From the first glance, it looks pretty cool. I think I even saw something typewritten on his video, which would be pretty incredible. I'm all about learning and creating and connecting. So, trying to think what to do next. Let's keep writing. Taking these vibes and channeling them into an endless poem. Thank you for the suggestion, Spencer of Grove. I'll be excited to check Watsky out. So I think, so Spencer Grove has dropped some lines in the chat from Watsky. And I'm going to try to read these in a poetic way. No, I can't see it because something popped up on my screen. Give me a second. And so Spencer Grove says, but don't paint me like the good guy, because every time I write, I get to choose the angle that you view me and select me in the nicest light. You wouldn't respect me if you heard the typewriter chatter tapping through my mind at night, the same stupid tape loop of an old sitcom dialogue. Powerful, powerful, absolutely powerful. And I like the reference to the typewriter. And it's true. What he's saying there is absolutely true. And that's part of where I think my poem is kind of getting to, is like that there's, you know, there's so much that happens between here and here. And then there's so much that happens between here and then you guys. And then there's so much that happens when it comes out of the speakers to you. Meaning, just, it's like it's like a game of telephone. Everything's just a game of telephone. And at the same time, I know that I'm masking myself in some ways. You know, but like, and that's the wonderful thing about it is like kind of, I think the response a little bit to it, to his words, which are definitely struggling, despairing, but honest and true and real, is that, you know, we keep throwing words at the problem because that's what else we got. And the thing is sometimes if we throw enough words at the problem, or we throw the right words at the problem, something beautiful can happen. That's inspirational. Thank you for sharing that, Spencer of Grove. Really appreciate it. And yeah, the typewriter is fun. Indeed. You can create gigantic poems. Like, for example, so FemK before was talking about how, like, I should stop using certain words. And common rhymes are important for a street poet because we're writing all the time and writing on the spot all the time. But desire, as a word, I always want to rhyme it with fire. Desire has a fire. Fire has its desire. You know, that. So I gotta stop. I stopped myself before I started typing. And I got one. And another one. Hello, everybody. We've got Milkman Dan throwing some fire and hearts in the chat. Jenkins Generic is got like a shocked face. So this poem seems to be kind of about a rising, and I haven't finished it yet, but I want to get myself to some sort of resolution. But the poem's not long enough yet, believe it or not. It has to be like long enough that it's ridiculous, but not so long that I spend the entire stream writing it. And you guys can't see it. It's FemK has observantly shown that the repetition of humanity, capacity, tenacity, and audacity. Those rhymes are actually pretty easy to kind of get to. If you're jumping into the stream, this is a request poetry show. Now, we have a lot of people in the chat, so if you guys want to start throwing ideas at me, I could start integrating them into this wildly long poem here. And then we could have a gigantic poetry read at the end of this very narrow CVS receipt of a creation. That is what's happening here. I'll put the laptop camera on again. I have a look at all that paper. We're gonna write on all that eventually, maybe if not today. So throw me some ideas. So far, well, a lot of this poem has been kind of suffused with concepts of rising up from under, escaping a, struggling with mentality. I'll read the last couple of lines. Letting the pen go, letting the people know his home and grandeur is pure with desire, escaping the mire of this hidden self-tired. I can see the light escaping through eyes. Spencer of Grove talks about angelic themes. Apathy, confronting or avoiding. I like it. Actually, I've reached a perfect point in the poem to be able to start integrating them. Oh, thank you so much, Spencer of Grove, for the hosting. It means so much. And so Spencer of Grove suggested apathy. So what's kind of developed here is this man trying to journey up this mountain of himself. It's almost kind of the metaphor. But what he realizes is that it's going to take some time. Yeah, I'm always talking about the human. I think that we could maybe make human one of my first words. I'm fascinated by the notion of the I'm just fascinated by the notion of humanity and like our flawedness, and comparing that to infinite and eternal themes, that we're not perfect, things like that. So I think that's why I always tend to that. But like, you're right. I say it too much. I'm gonna put that on my list of not to be used words. Human. And for anybody that's just tuning in, my name is Joseph. I do poetry on stream, and this is a spontaneous request add to the long-winded trailing poem hour. So thank you so much for tuning in. And what starts happening is the paper starts kind of trailing into a different way. I need to actually angle this just a little bit. There we go. So I have now, our character has overcome their empathy in the poem and now is rising to the top of this Olympian Mount Zeus. This poem has definitely wandered. I'm just trying to read some of the previous lines. Oh, massive typo. There we go. FemK has dropped Cosmic Mountain, and I think we've actually reached that point. This is going super well. Unless FemK is suggesting that I am not being original, which would not also be wrong either. I borrow a lot from a lot of things, and a lot of things is borrowing. And I actually said that there, the borrowing. Intention, borrow for invention. Story told to the Femk laughed. She said, this is not a critique. Well, Femk, I think everything is a critique. In a good way. We were always chatting about each other in a very, very good way. Like, for example, mountain, the first word that came to my mind was fountain. And I always do interpret your chats as supportive. Thank you so much, Femk. Sense frantic on the cosmic mountain. So I want to say fountain as a response to that. But I don't want to say that. I want to say something different. And that's when I decided to just let happen. The mountain is a place to meet the divine had a lot of possible inspiring stories associated, such as this one. Milkman Dan says, unique seeing poetry being created in real time. Well done, Walking Wall Poet. Thank you so much, Milkman Dan. This has been a lot of fun to be able to create this huge receipt of a poem. Now, I am reaching a kind of ending point here. Unless we have any more words to fuel this frantic run of words. I was going to try to rhyme something. Otherwise, and I got to stop the camera from shaking. But yeah, this is... our poem. Alrighty, let's see what we came up with. And so what we have here is a poem. It is long. It is very long. I could wear it around my neck. I cannot do that with any of my other poems. This poem has the ability to wrap things and just wander around. It snakes around. That is a poem on its own. So this was just a stream of consciousness. Kind of started it before even the stream, and then just kind of ran through. Whatever you guys feel, let me know what you think of it. If you have ideas, thoughts, questions, concerns, critiques. The poem. Typing the endless stream. So does gleam the machine so bright, typing all through the moment. Endless. A wild white line crosses through my slipped mind, a slip knot climb in my mind's keen eye. Widening the gap to know what endless words can sow. A field on the range, an infinite page, a way to find the consciousness that is below our surface. Careful to not leave the edge, fall behind and so fetch the fall into wall that makes me feel tall. I am digging the rabbit hole. deeper and deeper what is inside. A man entrapped by the back of his hand, grasping for the future, releasing a wound of whining. Timing his escape when his words cease their gape, and he waits. He waits and waits on the rise of his tide. A delta of doing with no confusing confidence, lacking, letting the pen go, letting the people know his home and grandeur is pure with desire. Escaping the mire of this hidden self-tired, I can see the light escaping through eyes. I lost my place. Eyes above where I rise. My power less super and more human. The way to climb a mountain is my 1,000 steps, but what awaits me is not the quick behest of a view, but the road up is long and consumes me through. I want to rest. I want to care less, lest the sight of the path be paint on my back, a map for others to follow, but my need is the green above. Not able to live through vicariously to you. So I lift my legs and take a breath, feeling this billowing air is hot, heavy with fatigue, but an updraft within me to make cool this flight. I see the end of the line, light above my hard work, self-shrine, an Olympian run with the climb. No longer apathy, but my liberty to Hermes' wings, and so I see the thought in me is not mine at all. It is the voices of heroes and foes finding a rock hold and hiding their wiles in my sinews. This intention borrowed for invention of this story, told through the ages, fuel for war's wages both in land and in soul. My disturbed sense frantic on the cosmic mountain found in ourselves. We are one and we are lost. We are found and we are tossed about as the cedars in storms. To such an adventure, my lifeblood warms. And that is the endless poem. That was cool. Thank you so much for everybody that contributed ideas for the poem and everybody that just was there chatting. And thank you for the shares on the streams. Really do appreciate it. As I continue to build up my account, try to get myself towards affiliate status. If we have anybody here that is not a follower, please consider following me. You don't always have to tune in. It's a great place to just come and visit when you so desire. It was really fun to be able to write for you guys today. And to do this big, long poem. Have fun with it. So if there isn't anything else in anybody's minds, I do probably have time for one more quick shot of a poem, not something as long as that. But otherwise, this was great to be able to celebrate. It is about 8 o'clock, so I'm going to, it's way after 8 o'clock. Can you believe that? Welcome to the day as it begins. Yeah, that was fun. That was really cool. Alrighty. Today is going to be a big day for me. I'm going to be finishing like 3 or 4 different commissions. I don't have any other work today other than just to be a poet and to do poetry things. I even finished some of my other job stuff too, which was good. So it's an exciting day to be alive. The rain is a little put a little pull on things, but I'm really glad to be still regardless here. I might be throwing on the stream later on today to be able to just show that I'm working on more poetry. Anybody else has no other requests, I'm going to jump off and kind of get my day begin. Milkman Dan says, thank you, Walking Wall Poet. Thank you, Milkman Dan. And I will probably see you on the Akira stream as well, because I'm going to be popping over there after this as I get ready to start my day. Thank you, everybody. I want to thank everybody that's in the chat. FemK, Relax Your Mind, Alex5K. What else we got? Jenkins Generic. Who is Jenkins Specific? I like Jenkins Generic. Milkman, Dan, Spencer of Grove as well. This was a good time. And now signing off is the Walking Ball Poet. Tomorrow I will be back to just doing my usual streams of working on my own work, but you can always pop in and request something if you ever need. And anybody that so desires, we will go and now raid the Akira stream. Believe it or not, at this point, because I've run over my time, usually I stop at 8 o'clock, this is a raid of the Akira stream. This is the first time that I've ever raided another stream. So thank you guys so much. You all have a wonderful day.